Thanks to LL Bean for presenting today's storybook with limited commercial interruption.
How's your mind?
All my life, it's changing every day, in every possible way. In every possible way.
The little calves make a sound, "Nyeh, nyeh," and the females will answer with mm, 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 mm. See them, they're looking at me. I'm talking. I don't know what I'm saying to them. Probably talking dirty to them. I don't know. And on the farm, you learn to make do with what you have. You don't always have the latest of equipment. I took 2 tractors and made one. The transmission went on originally, so I bought a parts tractor, put the front half of one and the rear half of the other and put them together. It's not really white, but it's close enough. It's gray, so we call it red, white, and blue, so it's got to be the Patriot tractor then. Now if this thing will cooperate and start. Come on! People don't realize how big these things are until you actually physically see them. The red deer is a subspecies of elk. It's what developed in Europe. At that time when we started, all of the information was coming out of New Zealand because they were the first ones to intensely raise red deer. The red deer is not native to New Zealand. The English took them down there in the 1800s, but being no predators, they became a nuisance. So they started exterminating them, and that's when they started, probably around the early 70s, to raise these behind the high fence. My grandfather came out on the place in 1927. We've been right here since then. Had a dairy farm with about 60 head of cattle. I had allergies and I could not work around the cattle. And I got into the trade school, the Eastern Maine Vocational Technical Institute. That's had about 3 name changes since then. I was in the first graduating class from the school in electronics technology. Ended up going to work with the telephone company and worked almost 32 years with them. So this has become more of a retirement supplement. The reason we call it Ash Hill View Deer Farm is because that is Ash Hill, and we're sitting here in the valley. We're located at 89 Sweat Road, Carmel, Maine. And this is what's native to Europe. And they're larger than our whitetail. The whitetail is about 3 foot to the shoulder. These are 4 foot to the shoulder. The females will weigh in 225 to 300 pounds live weight. Stags upwards of 400 pounds. It figures out 54% of live weight is a carcass weight. 70% of carcass weight is boneless meat. A lot of it that we make into hamburger. With a whitetail, normally they mix pork or fat, but with the red deer you don't have to. Right. It's enough different that will stick together and make a patty, so you don't really have to add anything to that. It's a very healthy, it's a low cholesterol, low fat red meat, and that's one of the things for it, is why it's a heart healthy red meat. The stags have a roar sound that they have during this time of the year. It almost sounds like a Jersey bull bellowing. When we first got deer here, the neighbors out here ride horses, and they called up and says, you know, we got to go out and hunt. There's a lost cow out in the woods out here somewhere. Well, it was these deer hollering. You definitely can hear them for over a half mile away during the fall. If you don't like strange smells and noises and free sex in the field, don't live near a farm. You learn a lot about watching them. You can also learn a lot about human nature too, because if you want to go by them, look down, don't look at them. If you want them to go someplace, stare at them. It makes them real nervous. You know, if a person, you start staring at them, you can make them real nervous in just a short length of time, you know? So you learn a lot about human nature at the same time. They're right out in the weather all the time, and the only time I ever see them look for shelter, and you have to have trees or a building for them to go in, and about the only time you ever see them seeking that would be in freezing rain. Other than that, if it's snowing out, they'll lay right out in the snow, and that's how you tell the healthy deer. The one that's got the snow piled up all over their back, they're healthy because their fur is insulated and it doesn't melt. If you see one that the snow isn't building up on, you better look at them because they're not doing as well as they should be. When deer are born, you've got about 48 hours that they will lay right in place and you can walk right up to them. Not much of any smell to them at that time. So if they stay still and don't move, they're pretty safe from predators. They just walk along, find a spot, plop down, and then you'd be surprised how easy it is to just walk right by them. You don't even see them. The most fun deer hunting you'll ever have is when you go looking for the calves. It's the one that got hurt the most by COVID. When that came through, all the restaurant markets shut right down, and the slaughter facilities got real busy because everybody started raising their own meat, and that's the hardest part is to get a slaughter date. When can you take animals in for processing? And that is the hardest problem. But there again, restaurants, they usually have a particular cut that they want. Somebody calls up and they wanted 10 pounds of tenderloin, fine, you go out and kill 10 deer to get the 10 pounds of tenderloin, now you've got to take care of everything else. But the direction I want to go is towards customer-supported agriculture, where I can sell the whole animal and have them come and pick it up. I call it the do-it-yourself kit. So that's our biggest challenge, is getting slaughter dates. So that's why I really would like to go towards customer-supported agriculture, because it would eliminate a lot of that problem. Well, this is our sugar shack, and maple season, it depends on the year. It may start as early as February, but usually during the month of March. The seasons have been very strange lately. For maple syrup to run naturally, you have to have freezing nights, thawing days. Yep. It will either be too cold to run or too hot to run. Right. Yep. And we've had very, very short maple seasons in the last few years. "90% of what I do right now is by myself. Anything from veterinarian, carpenter, mechanic, whatever profession you can think of, you just about have to do on the farm. You can't plan too far ahead of what you're going to do, because things happen to change it. I don't beat myself up on what I don't get done in a day. As long as I can get one thing accomplished, the day is good. Enjoy each day for what goes on. Enjoy your time. The older you get, the more you realize this. You look for your blessings in that day, because you never know how much time you may have.
At Native Maine, we work with over 88 local farms and producers across the state. It's such an honor to be able to work with such amazing farmers and manufacturers
We really value our partnership with Native Maine. They're just a great group of people to work with. When you buy from a local business, that local business owner is using that money to pay local people to work and then go out into the community and spend those dollars. Native Maine can do that for us, and we can focus on growing the food.
We're the pros at growing the mushrooms, and Native Maine are the pros at distributing them.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Plate the State. We hope that you enjoyed meeting Ken and learning about his farm as much as we did. We are now back in the beautiful Hancock Lumber kitchen design showroom in Kennebunk, and let's go see what Chef Josh is going to do with that venison.
Wasn't that awesome up at the farm?
That was incredible.
Oh.
I'm really happy we got to spend the day with him.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Ken, so educational. I mean, I've been cooking for over 20 years, and he taught me so much of what he does and the animals there and the girls. That's how he calls them. I love that
really
part.
enjoyed our time there for sure. What are you going to make with this beautiful
So
venison?
what we have here, and I asked Ken, I said, what kind of cuts of venison do you want to, you want me to show off for you, or what can I do to help you with the venison? And he gave me some beautiful venison shoulder. And I think venison shoulder is a very underutilized cut of the animal, where some butchers will just grind it into hamburger, But after I show you this recipe, I think you'll have a newfound appreciation for this particular cut. Yeah.
Fabulous.
So let's get into it. Let's start over here. So this is the spice mixture that we're gonna rub on the venison. And this is one of my favorite spices.
What we have here is Ras el Hanout. It's a Moroccan spice blend, which means head of the shop. And how it gets that name is the spice merchants would custom blend these for each merchant, so everything was a little bit different. And the one that we make at home, I really love because it has cardamom and cinnamon.
Very warming spices,
Yeah.
I think. And I love using it with venison because sometimes venison can be gamey, right? But I think the Ras el, the warming spices of it, really tame this down and add a kind of like enhanced local. We're taking something worldly and adding it to something Maine, right?
I love that.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now, glad you're holding this for me. I'm gonna sprinkle some of this on here, okay? And then I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. And then bring this over, add a little bit more. We're gonna kind of just massage that into all the little nooks and crannies. Now, shoulder is a very tough piece of meat. We can't just cut slices of this and sear it up. It would be kind of chewy and very tough. So this will lend itself to long, slow cooking methods, okay? We're gonna actually cook this similar to un papillote, right? Which would be cooking in parchment and served in that. Cooking in a parchment bag is nothing new, but I think a lot of people utilize this for cooking turkeys in for Thanksgiving. Those big turkey bags, you see them, I think Reynolds Plastic Wrap has these made. I love cooking in this because all of the moisture that's in the ingredients and in the venison are gonna be trapped in there. And so it's really gonna cook itself with all of the natural juices that are in there. So I'm gonna put the venison in here, and then we have some other ingredients. Maggie, why don't you tell us what we have there?
And because the Ras el Hanout has a lot of warmth and spice to it, we want to balance that with some lovely sweet fruits. And because it's wintertime, we're going to go with cherries, apricots, dates, and dried plums.
And then we have some more aromatics here.
So again, playing off that, we have some ginger along with the garlic and onion.
Oh, perfect. So you want to roll the bag up. You don't want to leave a ton of air in there. You don't need to poke holes in this or anything like that. It has a little, like the vent in the fold here will allow air to escape. You want to roll it up tight, tuck the corners in, and we're going to put this into about 170, 175 degree oven. This is about a 3-pound, 2.5, 3-pound roast. It's going to take around 5 or 6 hours. Okay, very low and slow. Ken would love that.
And while that is cooking, Josh and I are going to show you a few more venison recipes, including a venison bacon burger, and I'm going to show you how to dehydrate jerky that makes an awesome snack for these long, cold days.
We're getting there to sunnier days, being with the ones we love, and now with those you've missed. This is you remastering the art of life. And while you're getting back at it, we'll be here to help you master the art of money. Norway Savings. Live your life in color.
This week's pantry tip is brought to you by Norway Savings Bank.
Hi, and welcome to today's pantry tip. I'm going to show you how to dehydrate jerky, and it works great for the venison that we have, and you can also use it for beef. So we have a pound of Ken's stew meat, and then we have a marinade here, some soy sauce, some garlic powder, some of Ken's maple syrup, which is super nice, and a little cayenne. You can have fun with the spices in this, add a little liquid smoke if you want that flavor. So we're gonna pour this over our pound of meat. Give it a little mixeroo. You can just let it sit for a little bit, let it absorb a few flavors. All right, now that we have that nice and incorporated, we're gonna let that sit for 15 minutes, really let those flavors meld together. You do need to have a dehydrator for this. Ovens, unfortunately, can't get quite cool enough and it will just end up overcooking them. So have a dehydrator. You might have a friend that has a dehydrator. I'll let them sit for about 8 hours at 140 and they're done because they're gonna look like real jerky. And these will last fairly indefinitely. You can find these silica little packets online, and because jerky really does reabsorb the moisture in the air and you wanna make sure that they stay nice and dry. These make an awesome gift. If you're camping, hiking, skiing, snowmobiling, they're a great little thing to pop into your backpack, carry around with you, and it's awesome. So for this recipe and all of our pantry tips, visit us at platethestate.com.
We've been working with Brown Trading for 8 years. They're one of the largest importers of caviar in the country, and we're so lucky to have them right across the street. Caviar used to be kind of like this only for rich people type thing, and I mean, it's really not.
There's so many caviars, I mean, there's every price range. I'm really proud to be a part of Brown Trading because our desire is to help expose more and more people. It's good for you, it's now sustainable, and I think it's just awesome.
Hi, welcome to today's chef tip. So Ken gave us some great venison burger meat to use. Venison is super good, it's super healthy, it's very lean. So we're gonna make some burgers with it, and I need to incorporate fat into it. So I remember my mom, when we'd cook venison burgers, she'd always add bacon on top. I'm gonna show you how we can add bacon to the inside of the burger. So I have some great burger meat right here. Look how red that is. It's all meat, it's very lean. There's only a little bit of speckled fat in there. So I have the grinder set up on the KitchenAid. I'm gonna lock it in place. And I have some nice bacon here that I've cut up just so it fits inside the hopper, all right? I'm gonna turn this on about a medium speed, and I got a fine grind die set up on here. So we're grinding some bacon up in here. I have a few juniper berries. I'm gonna put them right in the hopper too, grind it all up. I love using juniper with venison. You know, when I think of that, I think of what does a venison normally eat? You know, they're out there with the pine trees and they're eating the juniper berries. So we're gonna make burgers with that juniper in there too, okay? Okay, so that's good. So I'm gonna turn this off, all right? I'll lift this up. I'm gonna take some of our bacon. I'm gonna pop it in here with the venison meat. I'm gonna use the paddle attachment. And I only wanna incorporate this just for about 10-15 seconds, just to really get it combined. Now, whether you're making venison burgers, beef burgers, anything like that, you like to massage the meat enough so you can get all the air out of it, okay? That will make a more dense burger patty, okay? Another little trick is putting a little hole or a little dent in the center, and that will help get them, instead of them puffing up, they'll stay nice and flat. We're gonna make a few of these burgers. The guys here at Hancock Lumber are gonna love us. All right, the burgers came out perfect, nice and juicy. They stayed this little like slider size that we're looking for. Quick tip on how to build the burger. I always start with my lettuce first. That kind of protects the meat from soaking through the bun, and then you get that soggy bun. Then we're gonna put our venison bacon burgers right on top. Growing up, always had my mom's green pepper relish. I would love to say that you could have this recipe on our website, but she won't give it out. Forget it, guys. You can imagine, sweet pepper relish. I'm sure you have one of your own favorites or one that's in the family. Couple pieces of onion, tomatoes. For any of my previous chefs that have worked with me, always season your tomatoes. You guys know what I'm saying. So put a little tomato on there. Little bit of local mustard on the other side. And I love mustard, so I like serving a little extra. I have some nice sour pickles here, some cornichons, put that on there. And then these are nice big burgers, so I'll stab a little toothpick in there. And there we go. Thanks for watching today's chef tip. For this recipe and all of our recipes, follow us at platethestate.com. Thanks so much.
What are you dreaming about? Wake up to Town & Country Federal Credit Union. If you can dream it, we can finance it without stressing your budget. Sweet dreams begin at tcfcu.com.
Today's leftover ideas are brought to you by Town & Country Federal Credit Union, helping you stretch your food dollars.
Hi, welcome to today's leftover idea. When you're dealing with a whole animal like a pig or like a deer like venison, a little bit more than half of it gets turned into burger meat or grind. So finding different ways to use that. I mean, you can make hamburgers like we just made, or you can make chili. Those are very similar, but when I was training at the Balsams way up north, really close to Canada, we'd always make tourtiere or meat pie. And every time I think of using ground venison around this time of the holidays, I always think of that. So it's a very simple process. I've got all step-by-step and the recipes on our website, but I just want to show you this perfect pie. It's made with ground venison meat, a little bit of ground pork, and then we add a little bit of potatoes. And you basically cook that all together and it mashes together, and you can see the potatoes. And as it's cooked, it kind of mashed together. So you have this really good blend of the meat juices, the potato, all of that stock that's in there. And then we wrap that in a pastry sheet, and I cook this in a 9-inch springform tart mold. What I like to eat with tourtiere, I know it can be very popular with cranberry sauce or pickled beets. I have some sweet and sour Brussels sprouts here. Brussels sprouts that I roasted off. I have a nice kind of sweet and sour sauce with it. And I think the sweet tartness and the Brussels sprout really pairs well. We'll finish this off with just a little pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and then some of that nice Malden finishing salt. Perfect. This is a great way to showcase ground venison. Thanks so much for watching today's leftover idea. For this recipe and all of our recipes, follow platethestate.com. Thanks so much.
Worked at Harbor Fish since '73. Customers come first. If you don't have respect for the customers, you can't work here. Where else can they go and go up to a window and watch a full crew cutting fish in-house, skinning it, packing it, ready for retail? Don't be nervous to come down to Harbor Fish. If you need help walking up the stairs and get in the door, I'll come out and help you.
Hi, welcome back. So we've had that venison shoulder cooking for about 5 hours now. Let's see what we got. So this bag, again, traps in all of that moisture. See if you can see inside there. Now, the amount of sugar that was in those dry fruits caramelized really well. So, as you can see, look at this. It is like fork tender now. Look at that. Oh, this is perfect. So I have a casserole here full of some Moroccan couscous. I'm gonna take that venison. If I can get it out in one piece, it's so fork tender. Put that in there. Take this right here, okay? So we don't want to get all of that fruit because it's like turned a little like mushy, right? But look at this nice pan jus that's here. Oh, it's perfect. So what I'm gonna do is take a spoon, get some of that liquid, and just baste that over that shoulder. Okay, now I'm gonna just shred this apart. Oh. I tell you, my dad would love this. This nice venison shoulder. Now remember, we didn't add any salt to it because salt would help dry it out a little more. So now we're gonna finish a little bit of salt. A little bit of olive oil. And then I have some marjoram right here. I like marjoram, it's gonna add that nice spice. Put that on. Ooh, what do you got there?
I have an incredible wine that Kat from Sopa Wine Co. recommended. As soon as she heard what you were cooking, she knew exactly what she would pair with it.
Yeah?
So it's a Syrah, and a lot of times Syrah is undervalued unless it comes from the Rhone Valley in France. But Kay Vintners in Washington State does a gorgeous job turning this wine into a very French-worthy wine. And the black cherry and spice notes in this wine do an incredible job complementing the spice and the stone fruits that are cooked with the venison.
Oh, and that Ras el, I mean, just smelling this wine now.
It's an incredible, Kat does an awesome job.
Yeah, really great job. That was such a great wine pairing.
Delicious.
As you've seen this season, traveling all over the state of Maine, local is super important to us here at Plate the State. Being a chef for over 20 years, I've dealt with so many farmers and producers and fishermen and cheesemakers, and I'm so grateful that they're letting me now tell their story.
And we're so grateful to all of you for watching us this season. We're incredibly grateful to Hancock Lumber for letting us cook in their beautiful showroom, to all of our sponsors and No Umbrella Media for making this show look as beautiful as we envisioned it. And we really hope you enjoyed all these stories and recipes.
A home-cooked meal is what everyone needs right now.
And to wherever your appetite takes you, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next season.
Bye.
Hello, sunshine, won't you come in? It's been so long since I've seen that smile. Oh, and I'd be grateful if you would walk with.
You're laughing, which is making
I'm
me
not
laugh.
laughing.
I'm trying to bite my ear.
And add to it a jigger of Canadian whiskey. Now you have Northern Comfort.
Northern Comfort. Maple syrup and Allen's coffee brandy.
No.